Okay guys, let's make a few more Bohr models. So this is the element lithium. The symbol is Li and its atomic number 3. Now remember, the atomic number 3 means that it has 3 protons that are positive in the middle of the nucleus. And there's also going to be some neutrons. So how do we find those neutrons? Well, if you take the atomic mass is 6.94, and round that to the nearest whole number, which is 7. So if we have 3 protons plus some neutrons, it has to equal a mass of 7. 3 plus 4 is 7, so it must have 4 neutrons, which have no charge. All right, so what about the electrons? That's the hard part that Bohr model does a nice job of explaining. So if it's going to have 3 protons that are positive, then it has to have 3 electrons that are negative. So last week we said there were 3 electrons to balance the 3 protons, but we didn't know where they were. So here's where we pick up. So if we look at what we learned from the previous video, each atom has a number of orbitals or shells that hold electrons. The first, or inner shell, this first circle just outside the nucleus, only holds 2 electrons. Well, it has 3, so there must be 1 electron there, and another electron right there. And since it needs 3, it needs 1 more, but the first level, or first shell, only holds 2. So that third electron has to be in the second shell. So not this one, but in the second layer out. And there are 1, 2, 3 electrons that balance the 3 protons. So what does this really mean? So if we take a look at the periodic chart, here is lithium, and you'll notice that it has 2 layers down, second row, because it has 2 shells in the atom, 2 electron shells. And it's the one on the far left, so it has 1 electron in that outer shell. So let's try a few more. This is neon. So neon is atomic number 10. That means it has 10 protons that are positive, so it's going to also have 10 electrons that are negative. The mass is 20.18, so we round that to the nearest whole number of 20. So if we have 10 protons plus some neutrons, it has to equal a mass of 20. So 10 plus 10. So in the middle of an atom of neon, there are 10 positive protons, and just also happens to be 10 neutrons that have 0 charge. So where are those 10 electrons then? Well, if we go back to what we learned from the video, the first shell holds 2. Well, it certainly has more than 2. So the first one's going to have 1, 2. 2 electrons in the first shell. So that means to get 10, it needs to have 8 more, and that second shell will hold all 8. So the 8 electrons are going to go in the second shell. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now, what does that mean? Well, neon, because it has 2 shells, is going to be in the second row down, and it has 8 electrons in its outer shell. Well, that's because it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th row over. So it has 8 electrons in its outer shell, neon. So what if it gets a little bit bigger? Well, let's take a look. So what if we get to an atom like magnesium, which is Mg? The atomic number is 12, meaning it has 12 protons, and therefore has to have 12 electrons. All right, so it has 12 protons that are positive in the nucleus, and 12 plus something has to equal, round that to a whole number of 24. So it has to have 12 neutrons also. So 12 neutrons are also inside the nucleus. All right, so where are those 12 electrons? Well, from what we learned, the first shell holds 2. 1, 2. The second shell holds 8, and 2 plus 8 is 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more. So 2 plus 8 is 10, and we need 12. So we have to go to the third energy shell, and we can put 2 more in there. 1, 2. So magnesium has 1, 2, 3 shells, and 1, 2 electrons in its outer shell. So where is magnesium on the periodic chart? Well, it's 1, 2, 3 rows down because it has 1, 2, 3 shells. And because it has 1, 2 electrons in the outer shell, it's going to be 1, 2, the second element over in the third row, magnesium. So let's try one more. This is the element phosphorus. Phosphorus has 15 protons, so it must have 15 electrons. So 15 positive protons, 15 plus something has to equal a mass of, round this up to the nearest whole number, 31. 15 plus 16 equals 31. So it has 16 neutrons with no charge. All right, so if we have 15 positives, where are the 15 negative electrons? Well, we know that the first shell, well, that first shell is going to hold 2. So 1, 2. The second shell holds 8, and we've got a ways to go. 2 plus 8 is 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now 2 in the first shell plus 8 in the next shell is 10. So we need 5 more that are going to go in the third shell. So in the third shell, you're going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So phosphorus has 1, 2, 3 shells. So phosphorus will be 1, 2, 3 rows down. And in the outer shell, it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 electrons. So in that third row, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there is phosphorus because it has 3 shells and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 electrons in the outer shell. These are called valence electrons, and we'll get to that next.